to say about Rugby League. We're having a little chat today with Keith Mason, ex-Huddersfield St Helens. I think well documented. You struggled early on in your life. You had trouble as a kid, mainly in with the wrong crowd. You worked really hard to get into the game. What was the main inspiration for you to get into Rugby League? Why choose Rugby League?
I think ultimately my mum was she nurtured me. So my mum brought 5 kids up pretty much on her own, and I remember my mum taking me to I think it was Dewsbury Moor actually, probably about 6 or 7 years old, and just to get me into rugby. Obviously she was a fan of rugby, and I was a kid with a lot of energy, so I have to thank my mum for making them sacrifices for all those years, and even for the tough times as a young kid, I was in quite a lot of trouble, but Rugby League did give me that focus and that discipline to achieve.
I mean, you started. I think we've read that you went to a few different clubs for trials, and then eventually was with the Leeds Rhinos.
Yeah.
And they just told me it's not easy to get to Leeds from here. So I think it was really Dean Bell that turned you down. How did that feel like when you worked so hard after a few years of staying out of trouble? How did it feel like to get that initial knockback from Dean?
Well, obviously a young kid being in a lot of trouble, very misguided. I grew up in a nice, loving home, but out on the streets, and I lived in a council estate in Dewsbury Moor. You get up to no good, and it came to a point in my life where I was in a lot of trouble with the law, and I realised that there was one thing that was going to get me out of this situation. That was rugby. I was talented at it. I could play it, and ultimately it took me to cut off all the negative things in my life, all the bad people out of my life, and it goes with the slogan for Rugby Blood is no sacrifice, no glory. And I made a lot of sacrifices as a young kid, 14-year-old, coming out of that court. My friend gets sent to jail, and I just give it my all. And from turning my back on all the bad crowd and what have you, and then totally focusing on Rugby League, I went to Dewsbury Moor Rugby Club, and the under-16s, we ended up winning the league. We beat Queensbury, which was Leon Price's team. And me and Matt Diskin played together in that team, and I got selected for Yorkshire, then got selected for England schoolboys. And I remember when I came back, everybody had been signed up apart from me and Wayne Price. So I went to Bradford Bulls for a trial. I was 16 then, back in 1997 or whatever it was. Didn't get signed there, not on a full-time contract anyway. Brian Noble was there. Then I went to Castleford, did another trial there for a couple of months, and Graham Stedman said that they wasn't going to sign me. So that's 2 setbacks, that's 2 knockbacks. Generally, kids after 1 knockback would give in. But because I've been through so much, and I had that fire inside me to achieve and win, because I didn't want to go back to where I came from. I went to Leeds, trial there. We had some great players, Rob Burrow and Danny Maguire, Sheldon Walker, that great academy team. And I remember one day, Dean Bell coming over to me and just pulling me to one side and said, "Look, Keith, we're not going to sign you. I don't think you'll ever play Super League. I don't think you're a Super League player." And it was devastating, because of where I come from and how hard I worked, and jumping on 4 buses, 4 buses, 6 buses, 8 buses, 3 times a week, going from Dewsbury to Leeds, and putting in a good pre-season, and then being told that I'll never be a Super League player.
It must have took some resolve for the 3rd knockback to still think, this is still for me. What was that? What was your thought process then?
Well, I got an opportunity to go to Wakefield, but before that, I was going to quit. But then I thought, I can't keep taking these knockbacks. It's absolutely crippling me. And as a young kid, I just turned 17 then, and I was like, what do I need to do to get signed by a club? I play with the best 25 kids in the country. Everybody gets signed by me. And I truly believe that, sometimes you just got to leave it in God's hands. You got to keep working hard. And my message to kids out there is that, if you want to be great at something, it takes a lot of years to be great. It doesn't happen overnight. And these kids need to understand that we're not entitled to it. Nothing's a gimme in this life. You have to go out and you have to crawl and climb your way to the top, no matter how tough it is. And I did eventually get signed by Wakefield. I hung in there. John Arbin gave me the contract. I think it was like for $5,000 for 12 months, a 2-year deal. And that following year, I actually made my debut. I was 17 years old, 17. I made my debut against Castleford.
Big game for Wakefield. The
Yes,
big
and then the year after, I had a full season at Wakefield. I won the Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year, the Man of Steel Award for the under-18s. We went on to get to the final. In that team, there was Gaz Ellis, and Danny Bruff, some great players in there. Ben Westwood. Yeah. I played 2 more games that year. I was 18-year-old. I played against Huddersfield, Castleford, and then the year after, I had a full season in Super League as a front row forward, as a 19-year-old front row forward, and that's when Melbourne Storm came in.
I was going to say, we're going to ask you that, because this is 5 years since you two with your friend in the court. How did the Melbourne Storm come about?
So basically, I was playing first team football at 19, which is pretty young for a front rower. And Wales made the phone call that they wanted me to play for England, play against England, and I was English. So I said, if I play for Wales, I had obviously Welsh heritage, would it jeopardise my future for England? And Greg McCallum wrote me a letter and said, no, it wouldn't. Yeah. Carl Cosley gave me the letter. I went down on the day of the game. I remember playing against England, a full-studded England team. We had 2 Super League players in our team. We had Lee Breers and Kieran Cunningham. And Cunningham was a guy who I looked up to. Yeah. In fact, I had a poster of Kez on my wall. And the next minute, I'm playing with him. Sorry, I was 18 then, sorry. So I started prop forward in that game. And they had like Farrell and Sculthorpe and Wellens and Radlinski. And they had all these fantastic players. And we was winning them 26-10 at half-time.
I think I remember the game. It must have been strange, obviously, growing up, having ambitions to play for England, all of a sudden you're playing against that. This players doing it now must be quite strange.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, I had a really big game for an 18-year-old kid. I was full of energy right from the kick-off. I think I put a big shot on Paul Deacon. But ultimately that game got me to sign for Melbourne. Melbourne were watching that game, Chris Johns, and they were looking for a forward out of Australia. So they were looking for an English forward, and luckily they wanted me. And ironically enough, when Melbourne came in,
was it Craig Bellamy then? Was he there?
No, Mark Murray was there.
It's just before
first, and then Craig Bellamy was there the second year. Ironically, Leeds Rhinos came back in then. Gary Everington said to me, Keith, we don't want you to speak to Melbourne. We would like to sign you for 4 years. Yeah. And for a young kid, wow, Leeds is a big team. Yeah. I says, you know what? I'm off to Australia, and I signed for Melbourne, and I went there as the youngest ever English player. And I made my debut at 19.
Do you think you could have played more over there? Or
Oh yeah, 100%. What happened is basically I was there pre-season. Found it really tough when I first got there. The full culture shock, the professionalism were amazing, but the guys made me feel welcome and made me feel very welcome. And I made my debut against West Tigers and I scored a try. The week after, we went down to play for Brisbane Norths, and there were me, Cameron Smith, and all that. Because I used to live with Cameron. We were all playing together, Billy Slater and all that. And I went to do an offload, and it was for Brisbane Norths, and my shoulder basically touched my foot, my back of my foot. So I was folded in half. I did my knee. I was out for 9 weeks. The first injury I'd had, I was absolutely gutted. Then I came back. Within a week, I made my official debut against New Zealand Warriors. I was 19. I think I was 19 then.
Unbelievable.
I made me the youngest ever English player. And remember, I was in a team of 24 internationals. It was an amazing team.
It's a name, isn't it?
Listen, I can say I played in the NRL. I was such a young kid.
Unbelievable.
If you're expecting me to go over that 19 and absolutely kill it, it's not going to happen. No. But I learnt so much over there. The second season, Craig Bellamy came in and said, Bellyache said that, Keith, I've heard really good things about you. I've heard you're a great player and we want to keep you on. Because he was getting rid of a few players who were still contracted, including in Sibbert. I think Sibbert, they said to him he wasn't going to be in the 25-man squad and he can go play in Queensland or come back home, and that's, I believe Ian came signed for Salford. The second season I was playing week in, week out, and then I think I played at Newcastle. when we lost to Newcastle, Andrew Johns absolutely blew us away. I would just like, it was like watching from the sidelines. The guy was doing banana kicks and stuff. I remember he kicked the ball from one side of the pitch to the other side. It bounced behind a fullback, and then Adam McDowell picked it up and scored. Right, it was absolutely.
It's just a who's who of rugby league, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. But I mean, our pack were like, there were me, Robbie Kearns, Richard Swain, Stephen Kearney, Matt Ruhr, Scott Hill. You have Marcus Bai, Aaron Mule, then you have Cameron Smith and Billy Slater and Dallas Johnson all coming through at the same time. Those young boys.
I mean, we have a lot of players go over there and come back. 95% of the time they come back better players. What did you learn over there that maybe is a bit different from here?
Yeah, obviously the lifestyle and just the weather. You want to get up in pre-season. It's 45 degrees outside. You want to go out and you want to go and get out in the sun. Whereas in England, it's depressing. You've got winter and it's like cold and gloomy, and the boys are having to start training, and they're training for 12 weeks in this cold weather. So the difference is, it's the better climate, it's the better conditions, the better lifestyle. It's a totally different country, and it's just a much more positive outlook on life. Being Australia, I mean, it's like in summer, you want to get out there, but they have. When I were there, they had these like little sheds outside. So we used to get changed into little sheds, and there were Gossers Park. Obviously, they've got Army Park now and Olympic Park. Obviously it's moved.
It moved on.
But everything was really super professional. Just the ice baths, the training, the diets. I just learned so much. And when I came back and signed for Saints, I was a much better player. Not only that, just a better human being by just the whole experience. Yeah. So
we'll move on to St Helens. Obviously, you moved there from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Played the Challenge Cup final in 2004, big game against Wigan, in front of 90,000 people. What was that like?
Best game of my life. Hands down, best game of my life.
Millennium Stadium.
Just the whole week. I remember Chris Joint telling me that the Challenge Cup's bigger than the Grand Final. And I didn't really understand what he meant, because obviously the Grand Final's been around for 20 years now, right? But the Challenge Cup has been around for over 100 years, and to win that cup, I know the popularity of it has not been so big over the last couple of years, but I think when I played, we had to play every top team to get to that final. We played Leeds, Hull, Huddersfield, Bradford. You don't really see a cup run where you have to play all the top teams to get there. And then we play Wigan in final, which, they had Andy Farrell and they had Radlinsky, and they had an awesome team, but so did we.
And you were very young Kevin Brown as well, played for Wigan.
Very young Kevin Brown, yeah. And I was 21, just 22, and I was starting front rower. But the whole build up to the game, and then going out and walking out, and knowing my mum's up in that crowd, and knowing what we've been through, and to get to that final, and then to win it and lift that trophy in that manner with such a special group of people, I'll never ever forget.
So that's the best. That's the
best. Listen, signing for Melbourne was an awesome experience. Making my debut in Australia was an awesome experience. I've been very blessed to have amazing experiences. I never won a grand final. I've been in many semi-finals. I've played in 3 Challenge Cup finals. But the Challenge Cup is the pinnacle. It's just an amazing occasion. Everybody goes and watches it, and to win it in front of that crowd, and it's just amazing.
And, I think you went from St Helens to short spell at Castleford, then on to...
long spell at Castleford. I was out of favour, Daniel Anderson. At the beginning of that year, I had septicemia in my leg, so I was behind the 8 ball, and it took me a long time to recover from that. And I had a really big season in 2004, not so big season in 2005 with the injury, with the illness I had. And then I went to Castleford, had a little floor spell there. And then before I went to Huddersfield, Wigan actually tried signing me.
Okay.
So Ian Millwall came in, I went to Wigan, I trained there for a couple of days, and believe it or not, St Helens put the stop on it for me to sign because I was still a Saints player.
They didn't want you going to?
No.
They didn't want to go to their main rivals?
No. So I was going to play on the Friday against Bradford, and then Huddersfield came in the last minute.
Obviously, Huddersfield's where you're best known as a player, definitely.
Yeah.
I know again, you went on to playing the Challenge Cup final in 2009, and then a very left field kind of friendship you made with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Could you explain to the viewers how that came about?
Yeah, so I played in the final in 2009. We got invited to Stringfellas as some of the boys after. went to the hotel, and then a few of the boys went with me, Scotty Moore, and I remember seeing Chris Odlinski there and Danny Orr there, walked in. Then I seen Mickey Rourke walk past me. This is the year he made his comeback in The Wrestler. And I seen him walk past me. I thought, that's Mickey Rourke. Yeah. No way, I was starstruck. So I asked his bodyguard, can I go say hello to him? So I've walked over and I goes, hey Mickey, my name's Keith Mason, and I actually loved you in the film The Wrestler. Is that like a bit like your life? And he looked at me and went, because what are you, man? Are you a gangster? Are you an athlete? Because we all had this Challenge Cup suits on. So, you know, probably looked a bit intimidating, stood over top of him like that. And I says, yeah, I play rugby. He goes, I love rugby, man. I love rugby. I watched the game today in my hotel.
You watched the final?
You watched the final,
Brilliant.
So, you know, cut a long story short, he gave me his number, gave me his details. We went to another bar. The infamous arm wrestling, where he were arm wrestling Scotty Moore, he whooped him, and then he arm wrestled Darryl Griffin, and Darryl snapped his bicep off the bone. And that same night, he were looking and we were speaking to each other, and his bodyguard were there, and then he just started crying. And I said to his bodyguard, I says, you know, what's up with Mickey? And he was like, it's okay, Keith, he just said that you look like his brother. And his brother's in heaven.
Oh, okay.
So I said, well, why is he crying? And he just like pointed up. So it was quite a surreal moment, but for him to say that I looked like his brother, which was his best friend, you know, Joe Rourke, God bless him. He's up in heaven now, but I think he passed away for cancer. And I just think to myself sometimes, you know, did he look after me because I reminded him of his brother? You know, obviously, then I flew out to New York to see him, and then I went to the GQ Awards where me
it must be surreal.
Me and Jason Statham and the Jackson 5 were there, and Guy Ritchie and Eva Mendes and all these famous people. But I thought Jason was a top guy, really down to earth guy. Sorry, man.
Not like that.
But yeah, I'm very lucky. I flew over to New York and went over to Hollywood and spent time with Mickey there, and just as friends, you know. And then he gave me the call and says, "Do you want to be in a movie?" And I'm like, "What?" And this was just after I'd won the court case, so it was a bit of good news. And then I did the film, had lines in the film Skin Traffic, and you know, I've gone on to do about 10, 12 different films and TV work since.
Peaky Blinders as well,
little blink you'll miss. And
did it well? It's a lot more than what most people have. That's to say. So quickly, obviously you mentioned before that the 2004 final was the biggest game of your life. You played at Wembley 2009, Cardiff in 2004.
Yeah, and then 2006 I pulled my hamstring 2 days before.
So where did you prefer? Regardless of the result, the occasion, Cardiff or Wembley?
I'd have to choose. I mean, Wembley's a dream come true to play there, because I went there when I was a 12-year-old kid to watch Great Britain and Australia. So every kid's dream is to play at Wembley, you know, and I can say I've done that. You know, we got off to a bad start. We weren't the favourites for that game, but obviously I think Cardiff on a summer's day with a roof off, you know, 90,000 people, just amazing. I've
only been there when it was half full for Magic Weekend, but if you do go,
it's awesome.
It is a tremendous stadium.
Well,
I mean, like I said, so I take it there was the acting that was the reason why you decided to call it a day in 2013, is that right, to pursue the career outside of the game?
Yeah, not just that, obviously, you know, the court case going on, very stressful.
Must have been hard to do the court case alongside playing rugby as well. That must have been difficult.
Yeah, obviously I had to be focused and engaged on winning that court case, you know, and not just, you know, rugby was on the back burner for me. Yeah. Even though I was playing every week for Castleford, my focus was on winning that court case and clearing my name. And you know, I did go there, and I had Joe Calzaghe who supported me through all that, and my mum as well. You know, he walked in with me, and you know, the judge must have thought, well, you know, he's walking with the greatest ever British fighter of all time. But you know, Joe's my boy. He's been there from with thick and thin. We've been through a lot together. But
so how did that come about? You meet with Joe Calzaghe? Was that?
Yeah, well, I met Joe through Mickey Rourke, and you know, the first time I met Joe was in London. We caught up, and we just clicked.
Yeah, I've seen the boxing links with Mickey Rourke and Joe Calzaghe.
We just clicked, but you know, Joe's like, he's my little girl's godfather. You know? We're very close. We're like family. Yeah,
you're right. He's probably the greatest boxer we've ever had. So, like I said, when you were playing, I think it's safe to say you were always an enforcer. You always looked out for your teammates. Yeah. Who would you say on the other side of the pitch was the toughest opponent you ever faced?
I've been asked this question a few times. You know, I can't really pinpoint. I can't really say one player, because the bigger the player, the better it is for me.
Yeah.
The bigger the player, the bigger and the tougher the player, as tough as they think they are, the better it is for me, because it brings out the best in me, and I want to get over the top of them. So I enjoy playing against Morley and Peacock and these players who are known as enforcers. And I think enforcers know enforcers, so we tend to leave each other alone. It's the ones that are enforcers who get on your nerves. But I think, you know, if you look at people like Luke Robinson, pound for pound, and Rob Burrow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how tall you are, but these guys go out there and they're ripping.
Yeah, I watched Luke when he started at Wigan. Obviously, I've got Wigan most weeks.
So people like that, you know. I mean, look, I play with some incredible players. You know, Cameron Smith, Sculthorpe, Cunningham, Billy Slater. You know, I've been lucky enough to play with some of the greatest players of all time. But toughness, you've got to be tough. Every player who steps over that white line has got heart. Yeah. Well, nearly all.
Yeah, we've got to. Yeah, got to.
You know, for me, you know, the players who play with injuries and, you know, they've got broken ribs and having cortisone injections, it's a tough old game. And sometimes, when I've retired, I struggle. I did miss it because it's something I've done since I was 6 years old. But then I realised that I've put myself in a position now to push on in my life now and have a career in films and create Rugby Blood and, you know, do the things I'm doing and be healthy. You know, there's not a lot of rugby players can leave the game and be in one piece and go on and to do what I did, but
especially in the position that you played in as well.
But I mean, and to do the films and all that kind of stuff and be in one piece, it is a blessing, and you know, I do work really, really hard, and I just want to inspire the next generation of kids that you can have a not so good childhood. You can be in a lot of trouble, but you can turn it around, and I'm here to inspire them kids that you can do, because I've lived it.
Right, so we'll move on to Rugby Blood now. We've mentioned it a few times. Where did the idea come from for that?
So basically, I went to see this guy. I won't mention his name, but he had a bad injury, and he couldn't play Rugby League anymore, and he struggled with mental health. He loved Rugby League. He hurt his knee. He ended up in a psychiatric unit, and he'd asked to see me, and I went to see him and had a chat with him, and I could see that, you know, he wasn't in the best place, and I just tried to give him a few tips of how I live and how I got through my tough times as well, by having a whiteboard and putting a few little things down every single day to make you a little bit better, to improve you. So for me, it's like, you know, get up at 5 a.m, go do my morning walk with the dog, get back, have a cold shower, you know, go train, do the school run, make a few calls. But for this kid, it was like, go for a run, go for a walk in nature. Get your mental health back up, because at the end of the day, look, we all struggle. People struggle with everybody struggles with mental health. But the only way you can make it better is by respecting yourself and doing things that make you feel good, like going to the gym. The gym did save my life, because when I was going through a tough time, I was in the gym all the time. But obviously I don't drink now. So if you're going through a tough time and you're going out drinking every weekend, or you're going out and you're taking drugs, you're making your mental health worse. You're going in a deeper rut. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And then you'll be around people who will drag you down as well. Definitely. So you need to be around, first of all, you need to be around good, influential people. And you can't go tell Tom, Dick and Harry about your problems. You need to have someone who you trust, like a partner. I'm lucky I have a partner who supports me, and I support her. So I think it's good to, your associations are really important. And I think going back to Rugby Blood, is that this kid eventually took his life. I wanted to help him, but he took his life. And I came home to my missus and I said, you know, I want to help his Rugby League. I want to inspire him through my actions, through me as a person. When then you've seen me in the gym, getting after it in the gym, I do ridiculous things in the gym, right? But it's not just for me. It's to inspire these people out there, these kids, because someone's going to be watching. I'll tell you something, I get a lot of messages, people saying that you saved my life, keep going, Keith.
That must be
my job. Listen, at the end of the day, I signed up for this, right? I was the face of Rugby League, and now I've gone on to do other things. But ultimately, it's Rugby League that made me who I am. So what I've done is took all the good and all the bad, and all the experiences I learned from Rugby League to what I do now. And every single day, my back's against the wall. I want to get after it, and I want to max out in that day. But for me to do that, I need to be fit and healthy and in that gym working out on myself. Not to look at me, I'm big and muscly, because it's not about that. It's mind, body and spirit. And if you put a blueprint out of how people to help their mental health and what you do, well, maybe you should just look at what I do in a day, because none of it's really negative. It's just working on myself. You know, yes, I'm a daddy. Yeah, being receptive. It's being positive, but you know, I've learned from mistakes. I've made many mistakes. You know, but I've learned, and I feel like now in my life I've matured. I've matured into a man.
So I'm taking obviously David King, the main character from Rugby League. I'm taking that there was a little bit of a self. So we decided, obviously Rugby Blood came from a film script. I wrote the film script with a guy called Ben von Kronos. I sent it to Pinewood Studios, the famous Pinewood Studios, and some film producers there, and they read the script, and then they asked me to come down. And I was like, nearly fell off my chair. I thought, wait a minute, this is the first script. I'm having a bit of fun with it, and they invited me down. I sat down in the famous Pinewood where Sean Connery and all the sound stages in 007, where they filmed the 007. Blockbuster movies are made there,
yeah. And I sat down and they said, look, we'd like to make this for about £5 million. And I just couldn't quite...
That's telephone numbers,
couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I just thought... But what I realised after that is that to get a film made, you need producers, you need locations, you need distributors, you need sales agents, you need many things to get a film made. So generally when you see a film, that film's been in the process of probably 5 to 10 years of getting it made. So Rugby Blood is actually in the process now to be a movie. So what I've done is I've gone back, I've started right from the ground up. So if you look at most films and most genres and most franchises, all come from the spine of a comic. So Rugby Blood is the origins of David King and how he becomes that, and that kid in the comic is actually me. So my childhood was, I was in a lot of trouble with the law, but I made it out. And David King is a guy that never gives in, who has true grit, and he perseveres no matter what. And the twist to it is that he goes on missions and saves the world. So, but you know, Rugby Blood is ultimately Rugby Blood is for the kids, to inspire the kids to push on. You know, I've gone to do a few seminars and spoken to kids, and you know, the ethos behind it is to never give up. It's very simple. You've
got some tremendous rugby league names in there. Was that easy to get the guys involved?
Yeah, I just thought, you know, I took it to another level. I went to Super League. I spoke to Rob Elston. And I goes, you know, would you endorse what I'm trying to do? He goes, what are you trying to do? I said, well, I'm trying to market the game, not just in England, but all over the world. And you know, probably nobody saw me coming back and creating a comic, especially a front row forward, you know, and doing writing and all that kind of stuff. But it's a very unique story. You know, there's many messages behind the story. You take whatever you want to take out of it, but you know, the slogan to it is no sacrifice, no glory. So you know, you have to sacrifice something now for something greater down the line, and that's what David King's all about. And David King, the actual franchise is just growing. You know, we've got Amazon Prime wanting to do the documentary series with potentially having Joe Calzaghe on there and people like John Hartson, and hopefully Jason Robinson or Ellery Hanley, and speak to these guys and how they've adjusted from life after sport. But yeah, Rugby Blood is my way of giving back. You know, Rugby Blood says, you know, it's the name says it for itself. It's about having rugby in his blood. But obviously the comic twist is that David King he's got some skills, you know.
I'm going to say not just rugby.
So, and I think, you know, that'll reach out to the masses.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
So yeah, we're looking at ultimately doing, you know, figurines and toys and TV series, anime series, films. There's no end to where we can go with it.
Rugby Blood's available on Amazon, right?
It's available on Amazon, yeah. It features the best players in the world. You've got Daly Cherry Evans in there. You've got Josh Adokar. You've got Nick Krotic. You've got Jack Whiting in there. You've got Conrad Hurrell. You've got Jimmy McGilvery, Darryl Clark.
Yeah.
You've got Zach Hardacre.
It's a who's who, really.
You've got Gildat. You've got Joe Calzaghe in there. You've got Adam Mills. Gordon Tallis.
It's amazing to get all the people involved. Just finally then, I think, like I said, you've got an inspiring story to tell, but I do just really touch on this, but I think one of the most inspiring things is how you met your partner, your current partner, Rihanna. It's a wonderful story. Just, I mean, I'd like to tell the viewers, I think, how you actually first met.
Yeah, Rihanna reached out to me. I was doing a bit of personal training since I retired from sport. And she reached out to me and asked me if I could train her, She just said that she had a problem with her legs. She didn't say she was paralysed. So I said...
I didn't know that then, no?
I know. I said, okay, no problem, come. And then when she got there, I was at the gym and she jumped, well, she didn't jump out of the car. She put legs out of the car and then she had some crutches. And I said, are you going to be okay to train? You don't look well. She went, I'll be fine. I goes, why do you need the crutches? She went, well, I'm paralysed. I went, you're paralysed? But me, you know, she said it, but I didn't think about it too much. I just thought, you know what, okay, she's here. She's just thrown this on me. I'll just give it a go. I goes, okay, let's go in. So when she came in, she sat down, got on the pulleys and stuff, did a few exercises just to work around her injury. She sat down and she was doing the pulleys and stuff, and I was stood there and I admired, you know, I admired what she was doing. A couple of months before, she'd had a stroke, and you know, she was laid in bed in a coma. She was a school teacher. She was a fitness addict, and to have that taken all away from you, you know, it's a bitter pill to swallow. And I admired perseverance of what she wanted to get back onto her feet and help her, and it just grew from there.
It's an inspiration to others, isn't it?
It just grew from there, and it's took me to another level, to be honest with you. It's put everything in perspective, and that's why I don't drink, and that's why everything I do is I do to the max, because I see a lady who looks after a family of 6 and, you know, takes care of us, and she can't feel her legs. And I know I eventually helped to do her first squat. You know, very emotional for Riona, even though she was holding on to me. She was stepping up, coming up, and then she just burst out crying. And for me, it was like, I'm part of this journey, and it's just like I've fallen into this journey, but she brought the best out of me, because I'm a natural, I like to help people, I like to inspire people, you know. And generally I've helped a lot of wrong people in my life, you know. And,
I've seen a video on, I think it's on your Twitter, with a told in the trolley walk along, it must be along the beach or something. It's never giving in, it's a complex story.
It's never giving in, yeah, and you know, people when they look on the outside and they think, oh, well, is this all real? And well, it is real, yeah. But the thing is, we're like anybody else, we have problems, you know, we've had personal issues and stuff like, not between me and Riona, but you know, other things. But ultimately, it is the backs against the wall every single day for me and Riona, and we are a team, and you know, and she supports me wholeheartedly, and I think she's a big part of my success up to date right now. And you know, like I said, I want to give back to society and inspire people. Obviously, my CBD company, Project Mason, where I'm endorsing pretty much all the Super League Great Britain boys, you know, and it's to help them recover. It's help them recover. Project Mason is a brand about getting people back into fitness. I'm just about to sign with Variety Charity as well, the children's charity, which will be on the O'Neills. Obviously, we didn't speak about O'Neills, did we?
Well, I think it's a shirt for Rugby Blood, isn't it, O'Neills?
Yes, O'Neills came to me, and obviously they're doing a whole merchandising. So if you see St Helens with all their training kit, we're going to do
one of the biggest manufacturers in the game.
We're doing a whole Rugby Blood training kit of 3 jerseys, a home, away, a magic kit. We're looking at doing a photo shoot, a video shoot in the next week or 2 with myself, Liam Watts, and Tommy Makers. So you know, the guys in the sport. As well, the guys are buying into it. You know, I've brought the entertainment back to Rugby League, and you know, listen, I do love Rugby League, but to come back and potentially give these guys an opportunity as voiceover work for the characters on Netflix, it's going to be awesome. Not a lot of players get, you know, they don't get a pat on the back. When you finish, you're done. You finish, you call turkey, and that's why players struggle with mental health, because what am I going to do now? I'm not going to do the thing I've done since I was 6 years old. Now I've finished. But the thing is, you're in your 30s. You've got another 70 years left. You've got another 60, 70 years left, and this is what you need to.
We've seen this devastating effect in the game after just well-known figures.
You need to get focused. You need to rededicate yourself, and you need to push on. And I think with what I'm doing, people, I hope, look and think, well, if he's been through retirement and he struggled and he lost houses and he became homeless, because that's what happened to me, to where I am now, you know, anything's possible.
Yeah. So to finish up then, like I said, there's a 16, 17-year-old lad somewhere who's been knocked back 2 or 3 times by his club, or there's a guy who took 3 scripts to the BBC, ITV, and if been knocked back, what would your message to them guys be?
Never give up. Never give up. Keep going. It's the journey. It's the process of what you'll develop and your character will build, and you'll find out who you really are. And enjoy it. Yeah. Enjoy the knockbacks, because at the end of the day, if you're getting knocked back, you're getting knocked back for a reason. Whether it's not your time, or whether you just need to do something a little bit different or change. Because if you're set in your ways and you think, right, I want this, you're not going to get it. No. So, for me, listen, I've gone onto buses and gone to London and done a 5-minute audition, and then come back to Dewsbury and travelled all day for a 5-minute audition and not got the job. And I've done that 20 to 30 times on a bus to London and back.
Better than not doing it though, isn't it?
It's better than not doing it, yeah. In fact, I embrace it. Yeah. I embrace it because that's where I learn. I embrace the struggle, and I always say struggles develop your strengths, and the storms make you stronger. And I'm still a work in progress. I'm not going to stop being a work in progress until I leave this earth. Yeah. So you've got to embrace it. And we're not, people look at social media and look at guys who've been working their ass off for 20 years with all these big houses and stuff, and then kids think, well, why haven't I got that? Well, that's where social media is bad. Yeah, because it's showing you a false life. That don't worry about that person. You stick to your guns and you focus on what you're good at, and people will come into your life and help you. If you're focused and you want to be something, you want to be whatever you want to be. Like you guys, you want to be. You're doing the social media. You're helping people. You're talking about Rugby League. You're growing. You're not going to stop growing. You know what I mean? You're going to keep getting better and better. You should be aiming for something unbelievable, right? But concentrate on today. And that's what we should do, and that's how I live.
Brilliant. That was absolutely amazing, and that was easy as a couple of thanks very much.
I enjoyed it, man.
Tremendous.
Thank you.
Keith Mason.